So they'll be calling you a radical. We're going on a week at the pond. I got a video of that a couple of them did venture in. But as you can see, it snowed in the mountains. And it's colder than shit. We got no snow on the ground. As long as there is grass, they won't head south. Look at them show up. But it blows my mind. They won't go in the pond. They're like, you know why? It looks so foreign to them. Most likely every single one of them were born here. But they're like, it's so foreign, you know. Some of these animals are probably 20, 30 years old. Some of them are 1, 2 years old. I knew they would come back as soon as they got the construction workers out of here. It's a phenomenon, you know. It's like Kevin Blanch's research. You got to dig through it in the research library. That's all YouTube is. It's a research library. Well, that's been contemporary. Just like you walk into a regular library. And the books that are on there, 95% of them have never been opened in 30, 40, 50 years. And the stuff that was contemporary back then, people are like, oh my God. They brand themselves in history. But good research, I remember doing research here way back when I was young in the library for a science project and on the blue herons nesting up in Echo in the cottonwoods and their numbers. And I finally found it. It was some citizen woman scientist who had just 10 years study documenting them and put it in there. And I found it. I'm like, wow, got no credit, got no money, got no nothing. She just did it because she loves the animals. You know, this has to be documented, and I have documented it. Taking a natural wetland and entombing it with some, which is against the law. Well, look at that, you know, human trafficker behind my house. The house was full of labor. He would bring labor in from anywhere, Peru, Mexico, whatever, and then stuff them in houses. He wouldn't pay them. Just ripped him off, and then he won't ask for his check, and he backhands him across the face. This guy's a 300-something pounder, and knocks his teeth out, and KSL reports it as an altercation. How come he's not arrested for human? The house cleared out the next day after Anderson did that piece. It finally KSL on the media. I'm sure he took a lot of shit for me on that piece. Well, he speaks Spanish, and so it's a big deal. And he drained off the marsh back there. I watched them do it. They drained off one of the big, greatest wetland resting places in the world right there. I grew up on it, you know. I mean, and they get away with it. I talked to the Army Corps engineers here. He was here while this pond was going on. The head guy, they're headquartered in Bountiful, and we're in the same district as the Columbia River, which, you know, they classified Kevin Blanch. So I talked to him about this and the salmon. He says, well, that's not my thing on the salmon thing. I says, well, he claims that. I said, well, look out your window. You're right there. Look out. Well, as long as it's, we can't do anything unless it's actually going on. I said, it's going on out there behind my house. It's been going on for 35, 40 years. No one's ever complained. I said, you're full of shit. Me and my Uncle Claude, you know, who's so historic, we went down there and we talked to you face to face. I mean, they just lie. Selective memories. So how do you drain this? Might as well jump. It blows my mind. They won't go on there. Why? Because it's so foreign looking. Don't look like, well, they're like, what is it? What is it? You know, not one mallard. And, you know, the mallards, they can see for literally 20, 30 miles. Literally. They're up above. You've been up in an airplane, seen how far you can see. Well, think about how well their eyes are. What's the most incredible animal on the face of the earth? Well, these geese are way up there. You know how many miles they can travel? Ducks. You seen a mallard fly? Any of the ducks? They can walk. They can swim. I mean, what they can do. I mean, they'll drop in from outer space this time of year, you know, because they're moving. They'll just stay here because they have to rest and they need food. As long as there's not snow on the ground, they will stay here. Now, you see they've moved in. That's a pretty good sized flock. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 are here. That's a lot. There was 33 juveniles that couldn't fly yet. They were born here this year. They didn't care. Did they die? Yeah, most of them. You know, a lot of them walked clear up to, because they couldn't fly yet. They were just learning. There were over 100 ducklings on here. They all, I'm sure, died. You know, when they drained it, they didn't give a fuck. You know, they were born here. I was part of the group that pushed this pond back when it was a natural wetland. I mean, because they put a parking lot over it in the 50s and 60s. It was a disaster. So in the 70s, these real biologists these real zoologists. I'm Butcher What's Cow, I'm Baker What's before they turned into serfs. Academia, Fukushima hasn't proved what academia has completely been captured by the imperialists. I don't know what the fuck does. I'm a Butcher What's Cow, I'm a Baker What's Cake. Every time I do a video, you hear the sirens, right? Every time. Non-stop. Consumption junkies. So, they won't touch it. You know, I got the ones in there, and, you know, the video, they're very, very hesitant. It's a big deal. I'll document it. It is really cold. I mean cold. So I'll be back doing my marine biology work on the ocean the 28th. I'll be there for a while. You know, so, and I get no funding from Utah. They're too busy sending their money to Tim Ballard, who was nothing but a sexual predator. You know, goes to Bogota. You ever been to Bogota, especially the region while he was in? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I have. Wow. So, they won't go in. Is that one over there by the wall? Almost looks like a mallard there. In the waterfall? No. It's a piece of debris. No mallards, no ducks. Well, they see this from so far away, and they're like, nope. They just keep moving. Usually they be, right now, this time of year, with no snow on the ground, and the grass still green enough for them to eat, there would be literally dozens, many dozens of ducks. You know, big northern mallards. Well, all kinds of ducks. And there's quite a few geese here right now. 28, but they won't go in. I want to document this and see eventually if they will adapt and evolve. Hopefully they will. You know, what'll happen is some dog walker will come here. People say, my dog. It's like when I was in California, I remember the last sea turtles I saw were up against the wall. They'd come in from the ocean trying to lay their eggs. And this woman had her two dogs with their sweaters on them, the other woman. And the dogs are right up on the sea. I'm like, lady, you need to get those dogs away from those sea turtles. And they're right, oh, well, Fifi and Fufu just love the sea turtles. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, the sea turtles don't fucking love Fifi and Fufu. That's why there's no turtles. How can you lay your eggs? Now, I did find in PB, that's real. That's very real. I ran that by, I mean, Kevin Blanch, I'm the biologist. Remember I found the sea turtle nest there in La Jolla recently? This year, for real. That's the first one I've seen in decades. So they're trying to adapt. I'll document it, but that's the first big group that's come back. You gonna flip your soup can? No. Fucking, I already did that on my consumption junkie. So it's Yellow and Black Friday. Go consume. So it becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge or well on Balco. It kills me. I tell people, have you no respect? And Utah absolutely hates animals with a deep-rooted passion. And if you don't think Utah hates animals, you're not paying attention. They hate them. They hunt these animals, these geese, now clear to February. When I was young, they hunted them for 3 or 4 weeks a year. They hunt them for literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months a year. They just passed a law to hunt cougars year-round with snares. And Dirty Spencer signed it. He's worse than Herbert. You know, and everybody in Utah is running. They're going to save the children of the world. Underground. Don't you think they stole that word, underground? I think that Underground Railroad word was taken. I think that was taken. You know? They're going to say, what about the kids here that are priming Children's Hospital? And I know it's an epidemic crash. I'm there all the time. My little adopted granddaughter just rang the bell there. You know, so Utah, and you know, it was well managed when I was young. By the way, the new mayor in Ogden works for the DNR. I didn't vote for him. I don't like him. You know, well, he played football here. Whoop-de-doo. The 98 when Metallica played here on the football field, has been downhill ever since. So I'm documenting this because will they come back? Well, there they are right there. I can almost guarantee that every one of those Canadian geese were born on this pond. You know, they've been on this wetland their entire lives, and some of them are probably 20, 30 years old. They used to live to be 40. They don't make it anymore. I mean, the average lifespan now is, what, 20? Why? Well, let's see. What do they spray on the fields? Oh, that Roundup doesn't hurt it. I was at the hospital eating. This guy had a backpack on and come and he sprayed right on my feet. And I went off on him. He says, "You're ignorant." I says, "I'm ignorant? I'm fighting cancer, buddy." Blah, blah, blah. And went on, and he just went off on me. So I videoed. I didn't put it up. I didn't want to get the idiot to get, and it was a contractor. He subcontracts over there. So I went and talked to him at the hospital. I'm like, "Do you think he sprayed you on your foot on purpose?" "I don't think so. I think he's just unconscious." I said, "I think at lunchtime, when everybody's out there, dozens of people outside eating." I'm like, and he's telling me I'm ignorant that Roundup doesn't hurt you. I says, "I have cancer." Try me. Try me. This is how hypnotized they have them. They're not going to go in, are they? Oh, hell no. They're like, it looks too foreign. Will they slowly adapt? I don't know. I guess time will tell. It's going to be really cold out here the next week, but I don't think we're going to get snow on the ground. But we got a lot in the mountain, a lot, but we got snow. God, your lens is dirtier than hell. Might as well jump. I was thinking about it because my daughter says that Rogan was interviewing Elon Musk, and Rogan brought it up and said that he has a friend that won't eat fish out of the Pacific because of Fukushima. He waits 40. And I think about it. I started out the same time as Rogan. I had huge followership, but I took on the nuclear industry. And just remembering this kid that worked for the New York Times, he's ex-missionary, blah, 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 that's taken over the internet. They've taken over this podcast, which I call Rogan, Rush Limbaugh, right? They have whole teams of production. They have whole things, and money, because people don't want to hear the truth. That's a big piece of it, But they're not going to promote somebody who's really going against these imperialists. It's not new. It's old world order. So we'll see when the wind blows and that fountain blows over into the cars and puts ice all over, and people are slipping and sliding and falling all over, and they got big ice sheets on their cars. Because if the wind blows, which it will, and school's out, but it'll ice everything up because it's cold. We'll see how long it takes the pond to freeze up. But it'll start to freeze up in the next few days. So, interesting, right? They won't freaking... They're like, "Oh, hell no. Hell no. I've never seen anything like it." They won't go in. I videoed them right in there, and then, of course, a dog walker came by and chased a retriever. It's like these people that have blue heelers and, golden retrievers in their houses. Dingoes. Oh, my God. It's so cruel, and it's so fucking mean. We have to take them to therapy classes, do you think? They got them on a leash. I mean, these animals were herd dogs brought from down under. It becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge. It becomes as natural as unleashing cows. Yeah, they're native here. Horses, cowboys with skinny Levi's and pointing, "I ain't gonna quit you." Yeah, that's real native. People are back on. They don't know what fucking native. They have no clue about these animals, and they don't want to have a clue. They hate the ecology in Utah because it's generational arrogance. Because they're going to see American manufacturing. They're going to heaven, whatever level heaven is. That same thing that's going on in the Middle East of Eden. It's arrogance. I'm better than you. And, the last generation, I'm smarter than they are. I'm smarter than the next one, when so untrue. They have it's generational arrogance. And imperialism, I'm better than you. You're not better than an animal. No, you're not. They're way smarter than freaking humans. Look how we act. Stay tuned. Very interesting. It's the 20 what? Oh, it's 2 days after. It's the 24th of September. 60 years ago today. Whoa. Huh. There should be a moratorium on all hunting, elk, deer, geese, ducks right now. At least why these numbers are crashed. Same with fishing. Since Fukushima, these numbers have crashed radically, and you're going to ignore the science. Here we go. No, those are pigeons. I do the fucking science. I'm not a radio gaga guru. I do the science. I am the scientist. My two tide pool work alone. I've proven that we had an incredible outliner. In science, we call those outliners. I've proven on the salmon, on the wells, on the tide pools, on all the ecology post Fukushima in an acute radical collapse, not gradual. And we call that an outliner science, right? Right. We have 12 years of data. We have the salmon data. We have all the data, the well data. We can plug it in. And we know unarguably, it's unarguable science now that Kevin Blanch was right, that there was some kind of radical outliner that happened. What's an outlier? Look it up. In 2011. That's an unarguable science. Absolutely unarguable. So we have to start looking for the culprit now. And hopefully Tim Martin's, he's in hell right now because he came out of surgery yesterday, recovering from open heart surgery, our biologist up there in Oregon. So it's unarguable science what Kevin Blanch has proven. So we know that 2011 there was an acute radical outlier on the starfish, on the salmon, on the well. We have all the data now. Kevin Blanch did it in real time. Kevin Blanch's data proves it. And now we know. So that's unarguable science. So we have to start looking for the culprit. Something radically happened in the Western North American ecology, including the heat bubble, including the drought, all of it, including, we know that factually. Well, what radically changed? Something really radical happened. What radical happened? Meteor hit Earth, Pacific Ocean. We have 900 Exxon Valdez. This is an acute collapse. We had record numbers of salmon until Fukushima. And they're just down 95, 90%. You know, starvation event from hell. You broke the chain. You promised you would never break the chain. We know factually. We know. Oh, 3 full core meltdowns. And they're going to tell you, Orwell, and this is Orwell and Balco, that one partial meltdown at Chernobyl, which was nasty, the 708,000 is more than 3. And you believe. I mean, Orwell couldn't dream this up on a bucket of hallucinogenic mushrooms and freaking 2 hits of acid. So, stand tuned. Kevin Blanch documenting this the great Pacific genocide, the ecology. Stand tuned.